Vikings Game Plan continues from the TCO studios. Paul Allen, Wobby from Vikings.com, and Ron Johnson from Fox 9's Vikings Game Day Live. Let's begin here. Offensively, when you're trying to penetrate and beat the Detroit Lions, is the right route of attack running for the money? What do you think?
I say yes. If you look at what the Packers did to the Lions, it was getting the guys moving. Their interior is pretty big, kind of like New England, and we know Patricia wants to do that. Once they got the guys moving to the end, cutback lanes were open, and you saw Jamal Williams taking advantage of that. Personally, I like Dalvin Cook and Madison over the Green Bay running back, so I think they'd have the same opportunities on Sunday.
Michael?
Yep, I would agree with that, and Ron's right. The Green Bay Packers had success running against this Lions defense, which I don't think is weak or not good against the run. It's just the Packers did a good job of scheming it, and I think the Vikings can also do a good job of scheming the run against this defense. And the theory or the thought is that the Vikings just opened it up last week at home against the Eagles and threw the ball all over the place, which they did, but we had more rushing attempts than we had passing attempts last week against the Eagles. And I think part of why the Vikings had success passing it was because they kept the Eagles honest, running the ball with Dalvin, even though it wasn't going for big chunks of yardage. So I think you have to do that, especially playing on the road here this week at Detroit.
A quick aside on that, it does behoove us to acknowledge tight end Kyle Rudolph. That second highlight you saw, that Cook run near the boundary, I mean, Kyle's blocking was phenomenal. It's been the best of his career this year.
Yeah, we always talked about the two tight end set and passing. The two tight end set and running, Kyle Rudolph with the complement of Irv Smith. They're doing a great job of the point of attack. And Dalvin is making it easy as well because he's not sitting back there like Le'Veon Bell. He hits the hole fast and then he's gone.
Well, and I think Kyle's willingness to buy into that and be good.
Big time.
It's helping Kevin Stefanski and Gary Kubiak be less predictable. Because when Kyle's out there, you truly don't know if it's a pass or a run. Him being out there is not giving it away. And I think Irv is following in Kyle's footsteps, and the Vikings are able to throw out of running personnel groups like 12 personnel, and I think they're getting a lot of success because of that.
And have the Vikings thrown well the last two games, whether it's by land or by air. The offense continues to succeed, and now Adam Thielen and Stefon Diggs go against Darius Slay, Justin Coleman, and a very, very aggressive secondary.
Yeah, and we know they're going to man up. We know Patricia wants to do that. That's what this defense has been known for. They have really good defensive backs that can make interceptions. So when you look at how to stop Adam Thielen or Stefon Diggs, you have to pick your poison. I think it's easier probably to slow Adam down, but the problem is don't ever underestimate him in one-on-one.
Right.
One-on-one, he's one of the best because not only is his catch radius vast, but he can make the tough catches as well. Even if a guy is on top of him, his concentration is bar none.
I mean, with Dalvin Cook playing the way he is and the Vikings blocking the way they are, and then you get the yin and yang of Thielen and Diggs, where every other week one of them is jumping up while the coverage is rolled to the other one. I mean, these defensive coordinators can only plug so many holes in the boat. I mean, you can't plug them all at the same time. And that's what balance is doing for this Vikings offense. It's balance with run and pass, but it's also balance with targets. I mean, look at that. Look at the big week Thielen had in week 5. And so the Eagles look at that and they cover those things up, and then Stefon Diggs explodes in week 6. And I think that's the benefit of having two really good receivers like that. You see it on that screen.
And the quarterback's on fire. You saw some of those Cousins passes, just frozen ropes to these receivers, throwing them open, and definitely most of them, if not all of them, on time. Now, speaking of throwing passes, Matthew Stafford, the first overall pick in the 2009 draft, well, he's been doing it at a high level for quite some time. Ron, the best routes of attack to defending Matthew Stafford?
You have to put pressure on him. And if you look at the Vikings over the history of him facing them, 63 sacks versus the Vikings, that's the top as far as defensive sacks towards a team in the NFC North. I mean, he's played the Bears, he's played the Packers, but the Vikings have gotten to him the most. Last year, 10 sacks in one game. That's the big key. You have to keep him uncomfortable. When he can sit in the pocket like this, he's one of the best out there. I mean, he played at Georgia. We know he's a first-round draft pick, so he's not a terrible quarterback. But when you put pressure on him, he starts to see ghosts, and he wants to get the ball out of his hands quick. And I think that's the key to getting to Matthew Stafford.
I think the key is for Mike Zimmer is going to be asking Kevin Stefanski what's up with Darrell Bevel, because Kevin and Darrell work together. And I give Darrell Bevel a lot of credit for the success Matthew Stafford is having this season. I mean, Darrell had great seasons here with the Vikings in 08 and 09. Going to the NFC title game, and there you see the work that he's done with Matthew Stafford this season. Matthew Stafford, a very productive passer every season of his career, but he's having a career year in those metrics on the screen right there. And I really do give a lot of the credit to Darrell Bevell because I think he knows how to attack coverages in the passing game. And maybe he doesn't love to stick with the running game, and you could point that out as a potential flaw in Bevell, but why would you when you've had as much success as Bevell has had throwing the ball in the NFL?
And they come out hot, 15 seconds. Stafford really good in the first quarter.
Yeah, he is. You're right about that. And Bevell likes to be aggressive. You saw it with the flea flicker that Pete Bursich broke down in the film segment. 32% of his yards, a passer rating just shy of 140 for Stafford in the first quarter.
Great job. Thank you, guys. Wobby, Vikings.com, Ron Johnson, Fox 9, and I'm Paul Allen. The Vikings are looking for their first division win this weekend. They take to the road against the Detroit Lions. On behalf of the Vikings Entertainment Network, thank you very much for watching Vikings Game Plan.